Howdy folks, and I hope you're a go for PDI wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another episode of Grail or Fail. For the newbies, for the uninitiated, Grail or Fail is where we revisit a 1/6 scale figure widely considered to be a classic and find out if it's still worthy of that Grail status today. So, to celebrate Artemis 2's successful launch and its outward bound mission to the moon, I thought we would revisit Dragon in Dream's 1/6 scale take on Mr. Neil Armstrong over here, the first man ever to set foot on the moon way back in July the 20th, 1969. This one was released by Dragon in Dreams to commemorate the 50th anniversary. They released it on July the 19th, 2019. They also released a Buzz Aldrin and a Michael Collins as well, but it's the Neil Armstrong that we're going to be taking a look at today. But before we dive in, I would like to send the usual solid rocket booster size shout out to everyone who supported the channel, and please drop a like and hype on this video as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the 1/6 scale reviews, previews, news, tours, showcases, and all that other good stuff that we've got coming up. So, without further ado, let's dive in and find out if Dragon in Dream's take on Neil Armstrong is a grail or a fail. Okay folks, let's get up close and personal with Mr. Armstrong and find out if he is a grail or a fail. Well, before we do that, actually, a few things worth mentioning. Number one, I'm going to say this from the get-go. I am no expert on NASA or on the Apollo 11 missions. I was a mere 2.5 years old when this gentleman first set foot on the moon, yeah, I am no expert. So if I make any small errors here, please either feel free to laugh at me or drop a comment in the comment section below and correct me. Yeah, also as well, probably worth mentioning, Dragon in Dreams. Now, I have an awful lot of time for Dragon in Dreams. I love their work in 1/6 scale, a lot of their figures in the collection. They started out doing military figures, still do military figures, and what really strikes me most about Dragon in Dreams is their attention to detail, and I think they were the perfect people to attempt these figures, this one in particular. As I mentioned at the top there are 3 figures in this particular lineup. Obviously, you've got Michael Collins and Buzz Aldrin as well. Now, talking of the base, and we always start at the bottom and work our way up. These bases, now the triple pack, and you could pick all 3 of the figures up if you're wanting to get all of them, had slightly different bases. They were slightly smaller, they were the same design as this, they all interlocked together, but the individual figures came with this base, and this is one of those individual figures. I think as well, actually, with the triple pack, you also got a sort of, not only did you get the interlocking bases, but you also got some diorama pieces as well. I believe with the Michael Collins figure, you got a 6 scale replica of the Lem door, and I think with the Buzz Aldrin figure, you got a Stars and Stripes as well. But yeah, this is the Neil Armstrong one that we've got here, the individual one. Let's take a look at this base and stand. And I've got to say here, it really is in keeping with the feel of the whole figure. It has a museum quality about it. You've got this sculpted wood going on here with this beautiful edging, which gives it, like I say, gives it an almost classy museum style feel to it, which is really in keeping. And it's been varnished very well, carved very well, and it just looks excellent. On the front there, you've got this full metal etched nameplate. It says Apollo 11, 50th anniversary, moon landing, 1969 to 2019. Obviously, that's when Dragon in Dreams released the figures themselves. On top of that beautiful piece of wood, you've got this lunar surface, which I believe is sort of it feels like a polystone almost. I don't think it's resin. I think it's a version of polystone to replicate the lunar surface, and I think they've done a cracking job here. It's relatively simple, not an awful lot of detail on there, but that's in keeping with the moon's surface. You've got some detailing going on there, probably the most pronounced detail are these footprints going on here, which have caused a lot of controversy over the years, but they are actually correct. A lot of lunar landing deniers say that these footprints didn't match the underside of the feet themselves, but that's because they weren't covered at the time with these particular boots that were designed for walking on the moon. But we will take a look at those. We'll work our way up. Oh, also comes with a standard issue crotch grabber as well. The boots, let's start with those. And I think this is where the straight away the attention to detail really starts to show here from Dragon in Dreams. Sculpted plastic blue section, the colour is right. It's got those lines running down the front of it there, which are absolutely accurate. Then you've got this almost this silver material going on around the ankles and over the top of the boots themselves. Once again, completely accurate here. Worth mentioning as well, pretty much all the clasps, the buttons, the valves that you see on this suit, the inside of the helmet, which we'll take a look at, that joint there, are all made out of metal. There is plastic on here, but there's an awful lot of metal going on as well, and I think it just really benefits from Dragon in Dreams using metal here. But back down to those boots. Yeah, brilliant finish there. We'll just flip this around so you can see around the back there and the level of detailing. The stitch work is impeccable throughout on this particular piece. Now, the AZ, not AZ, it was the A7L, I believe, this spacesuit, and it was made out of a form of spandex and nylon. And what Dragon in Dreams have done is gone for a nylon finish. They've used nylon here, and it's padded underneath to give it that weight and that chunk, and it just works very well. The body, let's talk about the body. The body, as far as I can tell, and I've had this since it was released, so that's we're going back to 2019 there, is very good. This is not one for funky dynamic posing. You're going to pretty much keep it in a museum pose, but the articulation does a good job considering that he's wearing this exceptionally heavy suit with all the padding underneath it. But as I say, you're not going to be having him in any particularly excessive poses, shall we say. But let's take a look at some of the detailing on this suit, and this is where it really starts to pop. Every line on this suit is pretty much 100% accurate to the suit that was worn. As I say, stitch work is excellent. All the pockets, all the detailing, even down to these darker sections here, this stitch work where it overlaps on the underneath the knee, all beautifully done. Let's spin him around the back so you can see the detailing here. And they haven't skimped anywhere on the detailing here. And this piece was made in conjunction with NASA, and it absolutely shows. I don't know this spacesuit inside out. I've only seen photographs of it, but I have to say, I think it's pretty much 100% nailed on. Absolutely incredible work here. Moving up, you've got these metal buckles underneath, and yeah, you've also got this section here, which actually is one of the portions of the backpack that we'll get to. It's the detailing here that just I still find staggering, even 6-7 years down the line. Obviously I can't give first impressions on this guy because I've had him that long, but wow, getting up close and personal with him for whatever reason is always a pleasure. Let's talk about these valves on the front here. Now you've got, these are all metal, they're magnetic. All these pipes that you see attached at the front here, the blue ones and the red ones, are magnetic, which is great to see. You move up there, you've got the Apollo 11 emblem on there with the eagle and the moon on it, beautifully done. You've got the NASA emblem on the other side there. Moving down the arms, once again that detailing, even from each individual stitched in ridge in that suit is nailed on. The hands, now the hands are sculpted plastic. It's probably one of the few things on here, on the suit itself anyway, that isn't made out of material. It's just, they're a softer plastic, so there's some give in them, not that they're going to be gripping anything in particular, but the sculpt is really nice to give it that material look. You've got the blue tips at the ends of the fingers there, and overall they do the job very well indeed. And it's worth mentioning as well at this point, if you want to see this guy in a little bit more detail, check out the homepage. There is a full review for this figure up on the channel. I'm not going to take this guy to pieces. We go through a full construction in the review, but in a Grail or Fail here, we tend to skimp out a little bit on those up-close sections. I will be honest, this is a bit of a ball ache to put together. It's the same with a lot of Dragon in Dreams figures. You need to put in the effort with this guide, because a lot of it is unconstructed if you pick it up new, and you've got to put some time in there, and there are a lot of delicate little bits and pieces that need attention, but it is absolutely 100% worth it. Let's take a look at this backpack. Now, doesn't look like much in its completed form, but there's a trick that this whole life support pack has up its sleeve that we'll talk about. The detailing on this thing. Now, as I say, I'm not going to take this apart, but what I will do is I will put some photographs up in the top left-hand corner. All this thing comes apart, and they have continued the level of detailing on the interior as well. On the inside of here, at the top, in that top section there, you have the, I believe that's the emergency oxygen reserve tanks in there. There's sort of two metallic globes in there, and then you come down, there are the water tanks, there's the radio, there is the O2 tank itself, there's the liquid cooling system, and if you take this thing apart, as you can see in the photos in the top left hand corner, they even continue that level of amazing detail on this pack as well, which I have to say, hats off to Dragon in Dreams. They went all in here, even down to the water reserve recharge instructions on the base there. You've got the NASA patch, and you've got the stars and stripes as well on the top. There should be an aerial, an antenna on top of here. I was getting this figure out to shoot this video. It fell off, and one of my cats ran off with it, so I'm going to have to retrieve it, hopefully before the showcase at the end of the video. But yeah, it's weighty, this pack, because of all the detail in there. There is metal in there as well as plastic, so you've got to be careful, even on the crotch grabber. Getting this guy to stand upright, it takes some futzing, but it really is. If you are if you're a sort of an Apollo 11 aficionado and you like your attention to detail, then you're going to have hours of fun just taking that life support pack apart. But back to the front. What we've got on the front here, and this also gives you an idea of the level of detailing that they've gone into here. It's the Hasselblad camera. Now, this fixes on the front on this little metal hook here, totally accurate to how it fitted to Neil Armstrong's suit during the lunar landings. And the detailing on this little camera, yes, it's sculpted plastic, but it's, once again, it's Dragon in Dreams attention to detail here. There isn't a thing missed. You've even got Hasselblad, if the camera's picking this up, you've got Hasselblad down the side of the camera as well. If I can get this camera to look down on the top, all the detailing on the top there is completely accurate. And you've even got the Zeiss Biogon lens on the front here, and down to the detailing on the side of the lenses as well. It's just next level stuff here. Even for its age, it looks phenomenal. That suit, absolutely impeccable as far as I'm concerned. I think they've done a wonderful job here. Let's take a look at the head sculpt, and let's bring him forward a little bit so we can get up close here. We're going to get a lot of nasty reflections on this one. There's not a lot I can do about that, folks, but yeah. The head sculpt itself, now I can't lift this visor any more than it's already been lifted, because what you've got going on here underneath the main part of the helmet itself, which is done in nylon and Velcro fastens at the front here, you've got that inner clear globe that all the astronauts wore. Then underneath that, you've got the sort of the flight helmet, which is done in material with the two microphones on that you can see there, and that white section at the front. And then, of course, you've got the head sculpt. Now, it's amazing. All the functionality is here that was in the original helmet, the actual Apollo landing helmet itself, in the way that the visor moves. But the head sculpt itself, I've got to say, for a 7-year-old figure, I think Dragon in Dreams did a phenomenal job. Now, it is fair to say that their head sculpts have come on in leaps and bounds over the years, because initially they were just putting generic head sculpts onto military uniforms, and it wasn't until later in their career of 1/6 scale figure making they started doing recognizable people. Yes, they did military figures and recognizable military characters, but it wasn't until later on they started doing people from movies and so on. But this, I think, is a pretty good Neil Armstrong head sculpt. Yeah, if it was done again today, it would probably be a little bit more 4K. It isn't the best head sculpt in the world. Those skin tones and textures are a little bit flat, but overall it's unmistakably Mr. Armstrong. The eyes are the right colour, the face, the sculpt itself is very, very accurate. I think probably it's just the paint job is showing its age ever so slightly, but really I think that tends to be lost a little bit when you view this figure overall. As I say, recognisable as Mr. Armstrong, but perhaps not up to today's standards, but I think it's a cracking head sculpt. And you've also got multiple ways of displaying this helmet. Now, we're going to get a lot of glare here, folks. I make no apology for that. The layers on this helmet are really, really love them. These tabs at the top of the helmet, and I'm going to try and do this with one hand while holding the camera. The first one brings the clear visor down over the internal clear globe itself. Then you've got a second one, and this is where it's going to get quite bright here, so forgive any reflecting light. Then you've got the gold visor. Now, the gold visor that is synonymous with the Apollo landings, I mean, I think it was, they painted it gold, as far as I remember. I think it was the best reflector of radiation. I think it also reflected UV and infrared as well. It protected the and kept the heat down as well for the astronauts, but protected them from those nasty UV radiation that you're going to get on the moon there through lack of atmosphere. But you also get these sliding sections at the side, which once again are completely accurate. Now you can have, and I'm going to try and do this with one hand. I'm going to actually just bring my hand in here. It's going to get a little bit up close and uncomfortable for a second there, and can't seem to do it with that hand. I'm going to try doing it with this hand. Swap over for a second. There we go. Yeah, forgive any camera wobble there. Doing this one-handed. Now put a dirty great fingerprint on that beautiful gold finish. But yeah, the two sides here, if you missed that in me fumbling with the camera, actually lift up, and you can have the full gold visor, or you can have the sides that slid down there, which reduce the glare for the astronauts themselves. I prefer the full gold look. I think it is just so iconic, particularly that shot where he's being filmed by Buzz, and you can see the camera set up off in the distance, and then all the way off to the horizon, the lunar horizon as well. I think it's just so iconic. So it's always, for me in the display, it's either full gold or it's the Neil Armstrong head sculpt. So there you have it, folks. That is Dragon in Dream's take on Neil Armstrong from the Apollo 11 moon landings. So I suppose what we need to do next is go in for a final verdict on this guy and find out if it is a Grail or a fail. Okay, folks, so it's verdict time on Dragon in Dream's take on Neil Armstrong. Let's talk the good stuff, and pretty much, well, everything is good stuff here. Proportions nailed on, outfit absolutely superb, the attention to detail phenomenal, the body excellent, the base amazing. I think you know where this is going, folks. If I had any complaints, and they're not really complaints because this thing is quite an old figure, yes, if it was done again today, maybe that Neil Armstrong head sculpt would be a little bit more 4K, but really that's just a minor niggle. And if you wanted to be really, really picky, it's a very, very fiddly thing to put together, as you'll probably see if you check out the full review. But that's to be expected. You can't make this thing and it not be complex. But everything about this figure is amazing. And I've also got to say as well, I mean, since I got this figure, I have been hunting for the Buzz Aldrin and the Michael Collins in the wild. They are exceptionally difficult to find, very, very rarely come up, because I think these are the kind of figures that when collectors have them in their collection, they hold on to them, they're not going to part with them. If there's anybody out there who has a Michael Collins and a Buzz Aldrin and they're willing to part with them, please let me know. I will take them off your hands willingly. But yeah, we know where this is going, folks. For me, this is an absolute 100%, no arguments, no holes barred Grail. I think it is an exceptional piece of work from Dragon in Dreams here, and I think they really have done justice to the legacy of those Apollo 11 moon landings. So yeah, no shadow of a doubt, absolutely 100% thumbs up Grail, from me at least anyway. But what are your thoughts on this particular figure? Do you have it in your collection? Are you a fan of Dragon in Dreams? Am I getting this completely wrong? Is this a fail? Have I missed the point entirely? Let me know in the comment section below. I would be fascinated to hear your take on this particular 1/6 scale figure. And I suppose that about wraps it up for this episode, folks. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, in the 1/6 scale world, new reviews wise, we've got stuff from Hot Toys, InArt, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Caustic Plastic, Exo 6, Iconic Studios. Actually, probably the next big one in will be an Iconic Studios figure. It is Christopher Lambert from Highlander, Connor McLeod from Highlander. Really looking forward to that one. In the quarter scale world, we have Blitzway's take on Al Pacino as Scarface from that classic 80s gangster movie Scarface. So yeah, stay tuned for those. We've also got a tour video coming up very soon, so all the stuff you saw in the intro there will be going in front of the camera, and we've got plenty more episodes of Grail or Fail, plenty more previews, news and reviews as well. So as I said at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is, from the Grail, that is Mr. Neil Armstrong, and myself, a massive thank you for watching as always, and until next time on the channel, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.